Hey, True Believers, Englentine here with another batch of new comic book reviews. All the books that I'm reviewing today are still on the shelves at the time of this recording, and I always do a Marvel, a DC, and a independent comic book. This time around, we're going to be looking at the new Star Wars #1, Harley and Joker Criminal Insanity #2, and what did I read for the independent comic? Oh yeah, Firefly! Yeah, they got a new Firefly comic about Mal's mama, so we're going to check that one out. All right, with all that aside, let's get this party started. Star Wars #1. So we're going all the way back to tell the story about what happens between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Of course, getting away from your standard, this is the first issue here, the character's cover. We also get the Long Time Ago in a Galaxy Far Away. I appreciate this. Now, Charles Soule is the writer here, and he did one of my favorite series of the decade, Star Wars Darth Vader. So I'm very excited when I cracked open this particular book to get some seriously good Star Wars storytelling, and instead, my goodness gracious, what can I say? Okay, look, it's not bad. Actually, it's good. It's a decent, okay, it's decent. It's decent at least. What we get that is good, by the way, is we get to see a little bit more about how Luke was dealing with his arm cut off, or hand cut off, excuse me, and we're dealing with a little bit more of how they are perceiving Lando Calrissian before they go. I mean, this is all about them escaping from Bespin and getting back to the rebellion, and we get a little bit more of the story, and I appreciate that part. The problem is that we're thrown into a situation where it's like, oh my gosh, look, our characters are in danger. They show up in Return of the Jedi. We know exactly what's going to happen. There is no danger to Luke, Leia, to Chewbacca, to Lando, any of the characters that we're meeting here. So what do? They introduce some other characters, which I'm sure are going to die off, or otherwise, you know, something's going to happen. They are the ones that all the tension has to come from. But they're sitting around and doing nothing because, as they say, we're soldiers and we're in a space battle, so our job is to sit around and wait to blow up. That's it. We have protagonists to whom we know their ending of this particular story. Now we know the complete story, but I mean, even here we know where this is going, and that's one of the biggest problems. Now, Charles Soule's a great writer. I appreciate that, but he has to do a little bit better for us to start feeling things when it comes to stuff we already know the ending to. I'm sorry, I'm not going, oh my God, how's the Millennium Falcon going to get out? I guess that's the whole thing. We got to be interested in how they survive rather than if they're going to survive, because guess what? They are. I mean, look, I'm impressed. The art's good. I'm impressed with the fact, hey, we got this big battle. There's 4 Star Destroyers, but once again, and I mentioned this on my review about Thor, if you're going to start big, where are you going to go? We do meet a new villain, which I'm sure she's going to be dead by the end, because Darth Vader's talking about how you have one more chance to succeed. You better not fail me, and all that jive. Overall, look, hey, it's not bad. Like I said, it's good in some ways, but just knowing where it's going, there is no tension. Next up, we have a new Firefly tale called The Outlaw Ma Reynolds, where Mal is hired to go after his own mom, and along the way, of course, he's reminiscing, and it ain't a lot of nice stuff to reminisce about here. It's by Greg Pak, and I gotta say, Greg Pak is not able to capture the dialogue, and that's what makes Firefly. To me, it's the dialogue. The characters are good because of the dialogue, because of who they are. And I don't know, this goes in one way for Mal here. Obviously, he's a little bit more noble than his grandmother, or his mother, excuse me, here is. But I don't know, just it's a decent, I'm saying this again, it's good, but it's not great. You're going to read it, and if I think you could enjoy it, but if you do, I would doubt that you're going to remember it after you're done. You know, it's one of those things where it's wholly unremarkable. We've seen this kind of thing before. I wish I had better things to say about this stuff. I want to go, hey guys, check this book out. It's amazing. It's something you need to go and read, put it on your shelf. You know, these are the books I wish I could find. But in all honesty, the reason why we remember all the great stuff is because most of it is just okay, and that's the way this one is. He teams up with a part robot who he knows, and he goes after his mother, and his mother's like, we should be teaming up together. And, of course, he's remembering all the times his mother's actually turned on him, so he doesn't trust her. And that's the story. Once again, been there, done that. If there was some sort of fresh take on old material, I could say, hey, all right, go see it. Best I could say is, while I enjoyed it, I just didn't enjoy it enough to put my reputation on it. You know, as bad as my reputation is, and a lot of people think I just say, oh, everything's great in the world, I actually do. I actually do care about it. And in all honesty, yeah, I can't do it. I enjoyed it, but will you? I don't know. It's just not that good. Joker Harley, Criminal Sanity. This is the beautiful Joker, by the way. If you, I've heard him referred to as that in this book. I'm a little bit late on this one, but there's no way I was going to let this series or even this comic slide. This is something I have to check out. It's my favorite of the Black Labels. I just think it's a beautiful looking book as well as a very well told story, and this one continues. I do like this would have Elseworld slapped on it in the 90s because it obviously is its own animal and it works. I like the black and white style when they use it. I like I like any kind of color they could throw in there. It's just very noirish. It doesn't shy away from the disgusting violence that would be on display if there really was a Joker. The writing is spot on. Not a lot to not like here as far as the book is concerned. I'm trying to think of anything that I didn't like about it. Oh, I've got it. I got it. This is something I didn't like about it. There's a scene where he's talking to, Joker's talking to a supplier, and the guy says, well, you know, it's harder to get, so it's going to be raised in price. So the Joker slams a knife into his hand. And I'm thinking if I was that supplier, I would have more men on at the ready. You know, I would be there by myself because you don't know who's going to come visit you. And therefore, when he pulled that knife, Joker would have gotten a bullet in the brain. Simple as that. And that's kind of what bothered me. I understand you want to make the Joker look crazy, but you can't make everybody else look incompetent in order to make someone look tough. It just makes everybody in your world look incompetent, and they did that here. Otherwise, I could see we're going for an origin much the same as Michael Myers in the Rob Zombie remake of Halloween. I believe I wasn't a big fan of it back then, and I'm watching, I'm going, but it could be something that would create the character. Now, it also shows the boy standing in front of somebody's house trick-or-treating with blood running down his face, and at one point he's in the hospital with a broken arm. You would think that somebody would say, red flag. I don't know what time period they're going for, but I remember this was a big thing in the 80s, and with the Ursula and, no, what was her name? Sunshine. It spelled out Sunshine or Sunny. Her name did. And she was killed by child abuse. So by the time that this came around, if you're doing the Joker story, it may have been the 80s, 90s. So I don't see how that guy would get away with beating his kid. Anyway, that's just a couple of nitpicks, and they're very much nitpicks in order to find something to talk about. Otherwise, this book is really good, and I highly recommend it. So there you go. Those are my opinions. What do you think? Have you read Firefly, the Outlaw Ma Reynolds, or Harley Quinn, Joker, Criminal Insanity? Are you liking that? How about Star Wars #1? Let me know what you think. If you think I'm wrong about these, let me know. And just put it in the comments below. Don't forget to click like, share, subscribe, ring that notification bell, making sure that all notifications are on for both YouTube and Google. And if you don't mind helping out the channel, go on over to Patreon or to Ko-Fi. Drop $1 in the till. Helps keep making videos for you. Helps keep the lights on here. And to all the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.